My biggest fear would be when the first comes and I don't get the rent.
I found that my tenant had dumped concrete down my toilet. Can you believe Fair Housing fined me $5,000 for that?
How do you onboard your tenants? What do you do?
I don't even know if I do it right.
If you're a landlord, don't just rent, rent perfect. The Rent Perfect podcast with property expert and private investigator, David Pickron.
Well, hello, Scotty. Great day to be in the studio today.
It's a wonderful day today.
It really is a good day. It needs to be a good day because we're going to go in and talk about something that you and I are going to get hammered online, okay?
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about evictions, and I think that's a triggering word. We're going to post this on, say, Instagram, Facebook, and people are just going to come at us.
Yeah.
Really,
It's a very divisive term when it really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know, you got your landlords, they're kind of huddled over here on the right, and or the left, or whichever direction you want to go, and you've got those who are against it over here. So,
well, I guess football season's starting, so we might as well say, it's a competitive.
I'm drafting landlords in my fantasy draft if we're talking about evictions.
That's awesome. Hey, before we get started, we always like people to like our podcast, subscribe, get this information. We are in tumultuous times here. We come in through this pandemic. We have this eviction moratorium. We kind of change our strategies and go to bank statements because we can't find records in the courts. And now all of a sudden we're about almost a year out of this moratorium going away, and now we're starting to see record evictions that are going on around the country. So just want to start out today before we have this discussion. I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to give you legal advice. Anything we talk about today, please pass it by your attorney in your specific area. I say that because every state has different eviction laws, different requirements for eviction. Some states, like Arizona, you can have them out in 21 to 30 days. Other states are 3 months. It's just a process that I can't act like I'm an expert in every state on, right? I have an eviction company here in Arizona. Our numbers are way up. I am assuming, as I also look online, that many, many, many other jurisdictions, they're up too. But coming up from an eviction moratorium isn't that hard. So our evictions per our population aren't way up from what they were prior to COVID. They're just way up, obviously, from zero,
right? Yeah.
which was the eviction moratorium.
Yeah.
So anyways, man, I had an email come in the other day, and a lady told me, she said, I've had people living at my place not paying rent, and more people just keep living there, and I just can't get them out through our eviction process is so terrible. And I thought long and hard about just being in Arizona and actually being appreciative. Now I'm going to get hammered for this, but for the short amount of time where we can evict somebody who's not paying us rent, unfortunate for the tenants, but fortunate for the landlord.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the landlord really took it in the shorts for 2 years, I feel like.
They did it, and I think there was this pattern created of the government kind of saying, hey, we're going to stop these evictions, and people kind of got a little comfortable with, hey, now I can live rent-free. And now when we do an eviction, the temperature in the country's up high, economy's kind of going down. Mm-hmm. People feel like you're taking away my property. I'm not taking away your property. I'm getting back my property. Mine? But there's a mental, and unfortunately last week we lost a constable down in Tucson who went to serve, in what we call a writ of restitution, which is the final eviction process. It's actually when you have to get out and return the keys to the landlord. So it's the final step. It's the most dangerous step. And unfortunately, she gets shot out of a window, kill a neighbor, went and killed the manager, and then killed himself. And just a tragic, situation. And yet we had our guys, or I should say we have our guys every day knocking on doors, passing out the notices, the sums and complaints, prepping up for that final, and I sat around with my employees and said, guys, it's a different world out there. You need to really pay attention. You need to stand clear of doors. We go through some training. Keep your eyes up.
Mm-hmm. It's a scary time because when are we going to back it up from the final part of the eviction to the beginning?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the next step. If someone's like, you can't even start the process. I'm just going to.
Well, I didn't know this person, but I kind of felt like, someone has their last draw. This is the final tipping point. Is it the notice? Is it the court summons? Is it when you're finally going to come and kick me out? you never know when that tipping point is in this world right now. So first of all, landlords, when you're working with someone who's not paying you rent, you're going through the eviction process, I would hire a process server or some professional to really go to the homes and deal with the tenants. It wouldn't be me, because someone who knows that you're the one that's in control of the eviction might really get upset at you. And I am worried about your health and safety. And I can just tell you the attitude on the lines just on our podcast of people coming at us. I posted this, hey, I'm sorry that this happened. Our heart reaches out to, this constable and her family, Afghan vet. I mean, decorated. I mean, just a good human being lost her life. And I pretty much get, it's her fault for picking her line of work. I mean, it just kind of just so callous, and it hurts. I almost want to just jump on there and blast back, but that's really not going to do.
Right, that's some troll that's mad about everything, and so it doesn't matter what you post. But
so we know evictions are up in a lot of places. So now we have to kind of shift our screening a little bit. Now at Rent Perfect, we're not shifting at all. We're just continuing on. But I just want people's mentality to say, we were telling everybody to get 12 months worth of bank statements because we couldn't find those evictions in the court files.
That was that really was our only option for a period of time.
I'm still going to do that. I still like that. I found that out of those bank statements, I get more than even just the rental paid. I get income coming in, and I really like to really use those bank statements. But now you need to make sure your screening company, if you're not using Rent Perfect, is getting into those courts and is getting you those evictions. And we did a podcast last week about aliases, right? How many, just not even people using aliases, but people use court clerks entering in Bill Smith instead of William Smith. I mean,
error entry.
Error entry. A lot of these courts are manual entry. When we file our evictions in most courts, they don't put personal data like Social Security number, date of birth. Eviction records are probably one of the hardest to find, but you need to make sure that your screening company is doing you some due diligence and doing more than just searching a name. I mean, hopefully they're searching a property address.
Right.
But a lot of people aren't, because they're not taking that investigative approach that we do. They're just this instant online database. Eviction records are going to be missed in those instant searches. Now, 3 years ago, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, they took evictions, judgments, liens off the credit bureaus. You're not getting those on the credit bureaus anymore. So I will tell you that the hardest record to find right now are eviction records. They're civil. There's not a lot of other parameters that we match. So how do you know it's the right person on a criminal matter? Well, because we get a name, middle name, last name matched with the date of birth. We can pretty much say, we're getting close.
About 99.9%.
Yeah, we're getting close.
We're the right guy.
When there's a Mike Smith on an eviction record in the court, and there's 100 of those records, a lot of people won't spend the time to go through and look at address. Is this address? So, anyways, eviction records are hard to find. Just so you know, I wish we could say we found every single one of them, but with human error, with the court systems, they're elusive records. They're elusive records, but you need to go get them. In fact, I would say, as I'm onboarding someone, as I'm doing their background check, I could say credit's important, criminal's important, but man, that eviction, how they take care of the roof over their head is so important for me to know. Yeah,
right? those past actions with how you handle your housing is really critical.
Because if I'm a tenant and I get evicted, and then I go apply with you, and you approve me, I'm going to think in my head, that eviction didn't hurt me. So why should I leave my new landlord whole? I'll leave with another eviction, saving my money.
Because it probably won't hurt me
Because it probably won't hurt me
again. And
yeah. Absolutely. So just know evictions are up. We need to get back into the courts. Make sure your screening companies are, searching those courts. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it 3 times. It's that important. Call them up, ask them. If you use Rent Perfect, you're in great shape. I mean, I will tell you that there are jurisdictions out there that don't share their civil records. There's not. You cannot get them. We cannot get them. They're on microfiche. They're in, rural Tennessee, rural Kentucky, or wherever they are. We do our best to uncover every record we can possibly get our hands on, in 4 to 6 hours. I mean, think about that, Scott, right? We're giving you a report back in 4 to 6 hours.
Even with all the technology we have in the world, that's pretty remarkable.
That's pretty remarkable. So anyways, just rely on us. Come to us, and we'll make sure that you're up to date and you're getting your eviction records. And we wish you the best of luck. Tenants, the temperature's hot. Be careful. Be careful. We worry about your safety. We don't want to see any more news. Not to stay on the tragic news, but that same day we lost a sheriff in Oklahoma that was dealing with an eviction that exact same day. So it's not just Arizona. It's not just Oklahoma.
It's nationwide.
It's in your own backyard. And so be safe and continue to rent perfect.